Greetings, Saga family. I'm coming to you here from the gorgeous town of Monto, little farming community that is about 2 hours west of Bundaberg. And this is where I've been spending all my time this semester, and that's why you haven't seen much of me. Jamie's asked me to have a little chat with you guys about the upcoming NEMAS event. It is a wonderful event. It is so much fun to spend all that time in the forestry, surrounded by your Viking friends, learning all sorts of new skills and doing some wonderful workshops there. It is a really, really great event. But it is a bit of a commitment as well. Like, we know that there's a long drive down to the event, which, coming from sunny Queensland, we actually kind of need to plan for a little bit. So try to plan your arrival time to still be in daylight when you've got a little bit of time to set up your encampment a bit. I think most people tend to, if they arrive in the afternoon, they'll just throw up their tent and make do with what they've got. You do need to plan your stops. It's a long way, and it's hard work. When you do arrive, you'll be met at the gate, and there'll be someone asking for your insurance. If you know where your encampment is, they'll indicate where to park. It can be really hard to find your group because basically you're in the middle of the forestry. And if you're not kind of aware of where the site map is, how the site map is laid out, or have a rough idea of where your where the group is, it can be a little bit hard to locate them, especially if you arrive in the dark. Have made that mistake before. Please do not make that mistake. What I'm saying here is, don't rely on making a phone call and being able to figure it out when you arrive. You've got to know all of that ahead. It can be, it is in the forestry, so there are some things to consider. One of those is to bring all your firewood that you're going to need. Bring your rubbish bags. There are a couple of skip bins there, but they're really for the public things that are going on, so like for the tavern and the toilets and that. So it is polite etiquette to take all your rubbish out, do an emu parade before you leave, and make sure you take that out of the forestry. It's also important to make sure you minimise all your modern conveniences, just like at Abbey. If you've got it and you need it, have it disguised or stashed away. That includes things like phones and cameras. Just covering them with a cloth, that can really make a big difference. There is camping available for those without the Viking tents. It is held in a different part. It's up near the car park, and it's held a little bit away from where everyone else is. It's a little bit more isolated. It's a little bit more of a trek to the toilet. It is available, but it is something to consider whether or not that's what you want to be doing, because you will be separated. All right, so I have some warnings. As much as I love this event, there are some things to consider, and that is the first thing, toilets. If you happen to arrive early, there are only long drop toilets available. Then after a little while, the Portaloo toilets will be opened up. They get cleaned out daily, and but they can still have the Portaloo issues that arrive with them. You know, they can be little sweat boxes, they can get messy, they can, so having your own little stash of toilet paper isn't a bad thing. There is no showers on site whatsoever, so just work out what you're going to do about that. There is a shower, there's rumours of a shower being available somewhere, but you have to drive out, and you have to, I don't know much about that. We have our own little portable shower sort of situation set up. But if you're doing something like that, you also need to consider, where is the wastewater going, where is all that, how that's being dealt with. Last time I was there, I saw 2 snakes at night It was cold. It had been raining. One was a black belly red and the other one was a brown snake. So they're good ones. Just be aware of that if that's an issue for you. You're in the forestry, so there's going to be all sorts of nature around. It can be a long hike to get to different parts of the event. There are some camp sites that are actually quite a hike away from the toilets. So if the toilet situation is something you need to monitor or have good access to, consider that your campsite actually may not be that close to the toilet. So it can be a fair trek at night, even going from the tavern to the portaloos, particularly if it's been raining or something like that, that can be a little bit inhibiting. The feast night, wonderful fun, grand. The queue will be long and it will be a long wait. So some people generally take over some nibblies to enjoy and share while they're getting ready for the queue. It's a long muddy road down into the actual area where the campsite will be. So if it's been raining and if you've come after other people, that ground can get really churned up and it can reach the point where you will almost be asked to walk your equipment in and out. So consider that. There have been many a bogging, so consider your little car and what it can realistically cope with. You might want to put in some ramps or something if you have access to them to make sure that you can get in and out of any little muddy piles. It is very cramped parking. It's a fair walk to the parking. It's cramped. So if you're thinking you're going to duck in and out of town several times during the event, probably maybe rethink that, how you can spend as little time as possible coming and going from the event. It gets really tight for parking and sometimes you actually may get parked in or out. There are a lot of people there taking photographs in a lot of different arenas in a lot of different ways. So if you have an issue with photographs being put on social media, or if that's an issue for you, you might want to consider how that's going to affect you. Do you stay away from public places? Because there are just people taking photos. You may incidentally be included in a photograph. There is absolutely zero access to electricity. So make sure that all of your electricity needs are catered for in some way, shape or form. The next thing is, please be aware that your children are your responsibility. Although there are some activities for children, it is kind of polite and expected that you attend with your child and the child is constantly looked after for you. I was a single mum for all of my daughters' upbringing, and I understand that sometimes it's nice to have a little break, but this event is a really significant event in the reenactment calendar. So if you're going to need a break from your children, have a think about how that is going to look and impact on other people as well. Also, your health is your responsibility. Although there's plenty of health officers around, there's no major first aid situation. Ambulances can't come in and out. It's going to be up to you to manage your health situation. So if you have a health situation that is going to impact on being able to access some of the facilities or your enjoyment for the weekend, maybe have a think about whether this is the right year for you to be attending. Now, I've dumped a lot there. There was a fair bit. It is a really wonderful, magnificent event, and it's a huge highlight on most reenactors' calendars. I know there was some information given about the particular aprons and costumes and that safety is always first. And, You know, as long as your garb is, you know, most of us have got Abbey ready garb. That's absolutely fine. You'll find a bit of a mix of who's there and attending in what capacity. In like, not everyone is a Viking. But most people are. If you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to clarify or give further information. I've only been, I think, the last 2 or 3 events, and it was the highlight of the reenactment calendar. So, good luck getting ready, and I hope to see you guys soon.